Let's explore a few more tools in Illustrator. We'll continue first with Pathfinder and apply that to the tracing of, an animal face to create a very simple icon. Alrighty, file new, give it your name, and the project. I'm naming it Zoo. A4 vertical. So with the Pathfinder tool, essentially you can combine simple shapes. Let's try a rectangle and some other shape, a circle, and create something that's relatively complex. Here we go. I'm going to create this rounded rectangle. So Pathfinder, window, Pathfinder, mine's already open, and it has a range of things. So let's have a look. It's got Unite tool, it's got a minus the front from the back, and it's got a minus the back from the front. And it's got a whole bunch of other things you can do as well. You can divide, trim, merge, crop, outline. Okay, so why don't we unite these two shapes? Why don't I give them a color first so we can see just what is happening. Alright, okay, so we have two shapes. One yellow, one blue, and let's unite them. Bang. So now we have one shape. Where there was two, now there is one. Let me just copy that, Control C, Control F, right click, transform, let's go rotate at 90 degrees, okay, and let me just put these a little together, select both these shapes, unite. Now I have a little bit more complex form. I can put more shapes in here. I can do a whole bunch of little circles and one more. Select them all and delete the front from the back. The second one, minus front. And now I have holes, and I mean holes. How can you tell it's a hole, not a fill? Because if I was to put a little rectangle behind it, a rectangle of color, I'll just make a new layer, drag it beneath it, lock the top layer, and come with my blue rectangle. Not quite blue, is it? You always got to you have to get used to this switching between fill and stroke, and also playing with your shortcuts. To get out of that tool, just go to V, and here we had holes. You see how they're holes and not just fills. Alrighty, so that's the potential of the Pathfinder, but why don't we use it to actually make a little icon of an animal. So let's go File, Place, and let's find something here. Okay, that's cute. Let's do the cute monkey. It's pretty big. It's not high res, but it's large in size, and just sort of centering it on the page. If your image was too small, you'd have to make it larger by dragging on the corners of your image whilst holding down the Shift key. Now I want to lock layer 2, which is the face of the actual image. I could name these, make life easier. Image, and let us now work on layer 1. So using simple shapes, I'm going to create the face first of the monkey, and then move to its face features, its ears, and this kind of white frame around its face. So I'm holding the shift key. I've got the ellipse tool, and I'm still on. Let me just knock out the fill. Yellow is quite good for me at the moment because I can see a bit clearer. Maybe red would be even better. Oops, keep on doing that. Alrighty, so I've got one red circle, approximately the right size. Let me just make it a little larger. That looks a bit better. Just move it in. Maybe also a little further. That's better. Control C, Control F, paste in front. And okay, now this monkey is looking away slightly. It's not full face, so I'm not seeing it front on exactly. So I'm going to draw it as if it is facing me perfectly. Okay, we need now a third circle. Holding the shift key, and that's it. We have now 3 circles. We can select all these 3 circles, and of course we go to our Pathfinder and unite them. And there they are. We now have a representation of the contours of the monkey's face. Let's go back to our layers, lock that layer. Now let's call it face, and make a new layer above it. Let's call this one features. Oops. And as you create new layers, you'll notice that you get a different color. That color will correspond to the objects within that layer. Let's go back to our ellipse tool, holding down the shift key. I'm going to create 2 little eyes. One, Control C, Control F. And there we have 2 little eyes. Nostrils and mouth. Why don't we make here the mouth a little wobbly? It looks a little wobbly, so we'll make it a little wobbly. It's got kind of a questioning look. To get out of the pen tool, just go to V, and it converts from the pen tool to the selection tool. What we need to do, however, is go to stroke and choose this middle band. So we're rounding the corners of our drawing, our lines. So if I zoom in, if I go Control Z, you can see how Control Z, you see how the ends of the line are square. That's the default setting. But if I was to select that and then go to the round cap and the round join, it now is a little bit more kind of appropriate, I think. So we've got nostrils to do as well, and for the nostrils we can just go click and create one, which we're going to copy and apply to the other. Okay, we don't want the stroke, we want just the fill, so we will swap the stroke to become the fill by going here, swap fill and stroke. So there's no stroke, but there is a fill. And Control C, Control F, and let's make it face the right direction. Transform, reflect, and its default is vertical at 90 degrees, which is what we want. And let's move it into like the right spot. Now it's all too far across because we're not drawing it exactly as we see it. We're fibbing a little bit because we're doing it front on. You'll see what I mean when I fill this space. which is his face. So if I just unlock that, select the face, you can select by just going into the layer, unlocking, and just going here where the little circle is, and it becomes a concentric circle once it's selected. And that's given if you've got one object. But if you've got multiple objects, it will choose all those objects on that layer. So let's go fill, and so that's what our monkey is looking like so far. And let's give there we go. So we've just, there's no stroke on the eyes, just the fill. And let's do the same with the nostrils. And all we got to do is just go to the eyedropper, and we want to copy whatever's happening with the eye to happen also with the nostrils. Let's center this. Let's go Control R to bring in the ruler, and then go to the ruler and click and drag a guide, so as you can tell just where exactly the middle is. So now I can actually place the nostrils more or less in the middle, and I can change the line here. I will leave it as a stroke, but I will change the stroke into black. Okay. Now so far so good. We're almost there. All we need now is to do this furry border and 2 ears, even though we can only see one. So if we go back to our layers palette, we can lock all of these three, make a new layer, and this will be what do we call this? I'll call it fur frame. Okay. Because we're doing a simplified drawing, not a complex drawing, nothing realistic, it's stylized, I will just summarize this in a simple geometric shape. Okay, let's go to the ellipse tool, and holding the shift key to constrain proportions, we're going to create this face. And the first thing you realize is that firstly, we could benefit from actually dragging the fur frame to where it belongs, below the face. There it is. And we can adjust the size of it as need be. Let's bring our guide back. Okay, so we've got our face, we've got this fur frame. Let's do the ear. Let's create a new layer, and this will have to be behind all the others. And ear. Okay, let's lock all the others up and go back to our pen tool. I might start on the outside this time. Yellow is probably a poor choice to show my vectors, but as soon as, it doesn't really matter what I do behind, as long as when I come out it's kind of consistent and continuous. Alright, so here I have now my basic outline. I need to thicken that line. Maybe I'll take it up to 4, and I would like to use a smooth corner and smooth ends. That's better, and I can give that a color. I might match it the color of the ears. Did I say color of the ears? Color of the face. I can now look, I'll just reverse that. Control 0, that's it, takes us back out again. Oh, I don't know if we even need that. Those ear details, we'll worry about it later. What we do want is to duplicate that, the ear we just created, lock everything else. Control C, Control F, paste in front, and holding the Shift key, I'm getting these big chunky moves across. And I need to go now, right click, transform, reflect, and the default is at 90 degrees vertical, and there we have our second ear. It's a beginning. Let's now just lock that in and create another layer, and this will be the body of our monkey. So one more time, oops, let's create a body with our geometric tools. This time I'm not going to worry about constraining proportions. Right, I've got now two shapes again. I select both these shapes and unite them, and I have myself a body. Now with our monkey, let's give it a color of some kind so it sets it off from the rest. Why don't we use the color picker to help us out? Oh, I don't think that's going to help, and definitely that won't help unless our ears have a stroke. So choose the stroke layer, the stroke, put on top, and go to black, then bring up the width. Okay, look, I think it's pretty close. What I wouldn't mind doing, however, is shifting everything across. Okay, let's just trim now the sides. There we have it. I think we're pretty close to making our the end product of our little monkey. Cool. I think we have our stylized icon of a monkey.